Hello and thank you for watching my YouTube video about Rockman. I have the race director himself with me today. My name is Lloyd-Georg Færøvik and I'm going to try to do his competition this year also. Hello, Thor.
Hey, nice to see you again, Lloyd. It's great being here.
Always wonderful to have you here because you give me so. It's never any challenges or anything. It's just it's just hello, nice to see you. Let's do something calm. No, you just wanted me to do the Blackwater, was it?
No, we kind of have this goldfish memory thing that we forget that we have a lot of races this season. You talked about you wanted to do Norseman. They said you should do it on this extra points. You just need to do 2 races and you can qualify. And then I mentioned Black Lake and maybe a few other races, Himalaya Man or something like that. But realizing we have quite a heavy season ahead of us, both of us.
Yes, because just explain what you've been doing for the last month. It's a nice list of things.
Yes, I am just embarked on something which I wanted to do since I started with triathlons, and that was to do the 3 classical extreme triathlons all in one season, which is obviously Norseman here in Norway, Kjeltman, and the Swiss beast, the Swissman. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been touring Europe with my great support crew, my kids. So 2 weeks back, I went to Scotland. Did my ninth finish in Kjeltman, which was a great experience. Again, this time I was managed to go over the high mountain, which is awesome. I had to control my pace a little bit because I was doing back-to-back weekends. And I didn't realize that Swissman had so much climbing. I hadn't really looked at the profile that much prior to going. But I came through Swissman as well, managed that. So I have 1 more race to go, which is Norseman in August, before I do the World Championship in Swimrun, together with you actually,
yes.
in September.
So just a little, just so people understand, because you're saying names, and I know of course, but these are full Ironman distances. That's 3,800 meters of swim, 180 kilometers of bike, and a marathon on top. Also not in the flattest terrain. These are more in the extreme
I would call the terrain more rugged.
Rugged? No, yes.
You could say...
You would think this is nice training for Rockman, but this is not training for Rockman. Rockman is rocks. This is trail. It's a difference. I'll show you later. So if you want to practice for Rockman, we're starting to get near it. This is the view, by the way. This is how the climbers looks. This is more of a Rockman. So don't think trails, think climbing.
So just to recap, you did that was 2 weeks.
Yes.
Weekend to weekend.
Yeah, back-to-back Saturdays.
And a little business trip in between.
In between, yes.
Of course. So that's because what I was thinking, there is a rule regarding your courses, and if it's easy, we're either off course or there's something. There's a sign somewhere nearby that's pointing us in another direction. So it's never a good idea to. Well, there's no point in asking if you can do it easier or whatever.
I want to retract what I just said. This is why it's called Rockman. We just met some tourists, so this is still a hiking trail for regular people.
So the question here is, are you ready for Rockman, which you are then directing?
Yes, I'm directing it this year again with Marcus, my good friend. He's coming in a week's time or so. Obviously, focus for the last couple of weeks has been a little bit myself, but we are now going into the last detailed planning. Weather forecast seems it's going to be a chilly day. Let's call it that. Chilly. Refreshing.
Refreshing. Yes.
We see in the weather forecast has dropped from 20 degrees down to 13 to 14 daytime, sea level temperature. Whereas at the higher points, we are down to 5 to 7 at night. So come prepared with thermal wetsuits, I would say.
Yes, so that will do. We'll talk a little bit about the equipment later on. We just did, a longer course before this and practiced with the gear, with thermal equipment. And I think maybe that for Swimrun, I think that the problem there is to either you're too warm or you're too cold, but I think too cold is not good. And so it's easier to undress than have too little with you.
Especially at a race like Rockman, because there are not so many transitions. But on the other hand, if you're too warm running with a wetsuit, you will also be very slow. If you're slow, you will be more fatigued in the water. So it's a balance. It's all down to what suits you and your partner, I would say. But yeah, we are ready for hosting Rockman, back to the original course. Birth of the legend, or rebirth, if you want to, maybe probably a better phrase, taking back the original course. So we're very proud that 110 to 14 athletes is coming.
Yeah, because so me and my teammate Ruben did this last year, and we figured this year will be support and help you, but then you sort of dropped the bomb on how the course would be. You just made it way worse, and in a good way, of course. You put in a half marathon after Flørli, and we just had to compete on it. Last year we also did the wrong with having shortless, armless wetsuit, which was not a good idea. We were very cold.
I was told you were whining at one point during the race to one of my fellow directors. So, and his comment were just harden up, get it done.
Yeah.
Jeg vil si dette er
Hva sier du?
at dette er det lengste strekket med svømming.
Jeg trodde det skulle være kortere, men...
Nei, det er ingenting om det.
Nei, det er sant. Men det rakker bare, for å si det.
Ja.
Rakker bare.
Get it done.
Yes, that's actually true. We did complain after the long swim because we were so cold.
But you had very harsh conditions on the swim. Probably some of the worst we have had.
Yeah, but I think it would be better if we were better clothed. But it's the hardest swim I've ever had. So that's mentally, and I think but I'm looking forward to.
I mean, everybody drifted off before they got back onto course. We even had to help some athletes from the safety volunteers. So it is what it is.
It is what it is, and that's what makes it so much fun. Just to give a little, when we were on top of Flørli last year, it was so windy that we had to wear the swim goggles on, because I don't know if it was water or sand that hit us, but we were actually at one part of the course running with the swim goggles on to protect us, which made it even cooler, of course.
Yeah, and there was also another ultra race in the same course yesterday. They had to cancel because they were running onto full peaks where we are going this year. So one of our fingers crossed is that we will not have too much wind. That's why we also implemented quite strict rules when it comes to mandatory gear.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened?
Short break for the weather, which will probably be the same in Rockman, I'm guessing. All the different kinds of Norwegian summer. We actually had, I think we had hail a couple of days ago. I'm not sure, but I think we actually had that.
Yeah.
That's good. So let's go through the list. Is there any, what would your advice be to teams for Rockman?
Like what partner you should go with?
No, that because that's probably settled already.
Yeah, but in general?
In general, yeah. Like
my Tomo rule is try to find somebody who is as equal as you when it comes to physical capabilities, both swimming and running. The equal you are, the better off you are. If there's a difference either in swim or especially on run, then you need to have a partner who can stand you when you're on your lows, but also manage you when you're on your highs and vice versa. I think somebody where you can actually enjoy a long day with, so you don't really get on each other's nerve. I would not go on an event like this with somebody which I knew kind of annoys me.
Yeah, but it's funny with me and Ruben. It's like if we just don't be with each other for 3 days, I think we have enough to talk about for the whole Rockman.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like we just start with our list and just start talking. And I think one of those things is that this being demanding. I think knowing you maybe is really important. Knowing you when you start to get grumpy and just handling you. I think that's really important. But also, we switch back and forth on who's the happy one and who's the pushing forward.
Yeah, you need somebody who carry you when you need that, and also maybe see that now you better hold you back a little bit because you're about to go too fast. So somebody that can read you, and that you know that you can stand 18 to 20 hours with if it needs to be.
Yeah, that's because it's up to. So that's directly over to the next question. So there is what would you say a team should mentally prepare for Rockman? Is there anything you like advice or a sentence that because I know we have the bands, but do you have any like tip on what they should stick to, hold on to through the day?
You need to like rocks. It will get rocky. It's called a Rockman for a reason. It's rocks. Rocks are all over the place. If you don't like rocks, if you hate rocks, eat them, digest them, just enjoy it, embrace them, because they will be with you constantly throughout the day. I think, but no, from a more serious note, I think my experience doing long distance endurance events is that focus about the things you can control between now and race day. Weather, you can't control it. It will be whatever it is. Obviously, you need to check the forecast in order to make sure you bring the right amount of gear. Because in the race manual, it's a minimum, not a maximum. So that's one thing. Secondly, if you know that you have some gels or something that you really like, make sure you bring enough, bring some extra spare. It's better to carry a few hundred extra grams than going too short on those things. You can't do much with your physical capabilities now because it's too close to the race. So now it's about just mentally turning off all the distractions that you can't do anything with and focus about what you can do something about. And that's drink, sleep, and enjoy life. If you do those 3 things, you'll do fine at Rockman.
The good advice, I would say. So I'm putting an extra question here because I think that's relevant, and that's who signs up for Rockman and who should sign up for Rockman?
Well, I know Marcus, he doesn't like it when I say it, is that Rockman is something everybody can do. Because if you are mentally prepared to hike with purpose and are a decent swimmer, pretty much everybody can do Rockman.
Yeah, after some practice, I would say, of course.
Of course, but at the same time, if you know your capabilities and know that you are endure enough, it's about mentally, half of it is in your heads.
Yeah, because I don't sign up for Rockman to win it for a competition. I sign up for Rockman to win it for myself. But there are people, of course, that are competitors and do it to win.
I mean, we have reigning world champions in Swimrun coming this year. We have people that did the course 10 years back. We have athletes. One athlete has been at every Rockman event. Funny enough with him, I think he has only twice he had the same partner, so he's Mr. Swingers in Rockman history. I think you know who I'm speaking to, Kai. We have others. You have people from all social backgrounds, all type of physical backgrounds. We have had Olympic athletes doing Rockman, like last year when the Swedish team won on the last sentence. One of those athletes were famous cross-country skier,
Olympic, I think.
Olympic, yes, champion. So I mean, it's and you have guys like me that started training in a midlife crisis and managed to pull myself through it.
I'll join you on that one, especially the trail and swim and the bike part of, well, all of the parts basically. I hadn't been outside for 15 years before I did swim runs, and I find that that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. It's like speed running nature. Food and hydration, right? There will be aid stations and all that, but
yes, but remember the aid stations are there at a few critical points. This year we are bringing back the old concept, and the old concept is it's never meant to be easy. So you need to bring whatever you think you need, and it's not about, don't expect the aid stations to be full of everything, right? We just announced the energy guide. It will be what we have had recently. We never offer any gels at our aid stations. We have some candy, we have different potato waffles, Norwegian waffles, soup, these type of things. More like the typical basic nutrition. So, and remember, from Flørli to the finish line, which is probably at least a good 40% left of the course, time-wise, there is no aid stations. So you need to make sure you pack enough energy, fuel and supplies to carry you through the second half of the race.
That's why we, on the bottom of Flørli, after crossing the fjord, get the backpack where we then have more clothes, because we're gonna run, maybe it starts getting late, but also we can have in some extra food and gels and stuff there, I guess.
Well, you have to have water. There's plenty of water on the course. So you have to drink it the Rockman style. And the Tomo rule, if it's what do you call it? Flowing water, you can drink it.
Yeah.
On the Rockman and the most Norwegian trails, you can actually just drink the water as long as it's running. Don't drink it near the Pulpitrock, but when you come past there, it's no problem to drink it. Ruben just got some water in this camelback for the rest of the trip here in this beautiful lake.
And don't drink water from fjord.
No fjord water. That's well, it's good. It's salty, so that's if you need some salt.
Electrolytes.
Yeah, and that's not like it's not like Norwegian can drink. Everybody can drink it.
Yeah.
The water on top of it's probably some of the best water you've been drinking in all your life.
Best quality. But obviously, if you see a dead moose next to it, don't drink there. Be smart, be sensible, but make sure you bring. At registration, we will check all of the mandatory gear. If you miss something, you have to go back and get it, and it's an hour drive to Stavanger.
Yeah, that's something. So you talked very much about the clothes in the backpack with but just a little reminder on how cold it can get on top of this.
Well, you mentioned it last year's race that you had to run with your goggles. It's pretty much that and higher altitude. Potentially in the headwind. So what we typically see is with the forecast we have right now, you will be between a chill factor between -2 to +5 degrees at the peak.
It's not the summer, you know. That it's not. So
it is Norwegian summer
it is
at that
Norwegian
altitude,
summer.
right?
But the question is how many countries are signed up? Do you know? Have you any idea?
Ooh, that's a good one. I haven't counted, but we have a guy from Tahiti.
Tahiti.
Yeah, that's the most exotic
Hello.
entry we have. We have a lot of people from France, Sweden, Norway, Germany, UK, US, Spain, Portugal, to mention a few. We have one guy from Australia, and they're always multiple. So typically we see between 14 to 20 odd nationalities.
Yeah, that's why we also do this in English, because there's so many different languages, which is wonderful, because Swimrun is I think it's growing internationally, and it would be weird if not, because it's such a cool way to just experience places, and also, you know, have a lifetime experience, I think. So I understand why there are so many different. It's like tourism, but with training involved. It's wonderful.
Sports tourism.
Sports tourism. So that's really good. So the question then is, with all of these different teams, and some of them are returning, is there, you know, how does the day before the competition look? Is it possible for people to meet?
Yeah, because everybody needs to be at the Pulpitrock base camp. Everybody will be assigned rooms and accommodation there. There will be some shared accommodation because we have booked all available beds. In some of the rooms, there are 3 people in one room, there are 5 in another. We haven't done that allotment yet, so we'll do that this week. But there will be plenty of opportunities to meet peers, get to bond. Registration is, you know, early. We have a mandatory race brief, and after that, there's plenty of time to connect with each other at the base camp area. And then after the race, when you finished at the top of Lysebotn, just be glad we didn't make you run downhill to the bottom. There will be a buffet and people meeting, and then Sunday morning breakfast buffet before we take with the most athletes go in the ferry back to Stavanger to jump on the plane back home.
That's wonderful. So, but is there any merchandise? Are you selling any merchandise this year?
Well, everybody will get the t-shirt I'm wearing.
Oh, that's good.
We have some towels that we are giving out to everybody. So in case you forget to bring your towels, you'll have supplied with one at the finish line. We don't have plans for too much merchandise because we have seen in the past that it's with the number of athletes, we'll end up with a lot of stock, and it will be sitting in my closet way too long.
You can wear it. You just buy more in the one sizes.
Yes.
So Ruben asked, wanted me to ask, but will the bibs be in different sizes this year?
No.
No.
You need to go on a diet.
Yes, he's 6, almost 7 inch, 7 feet tall. So his it doesn't even cover his navel. So it's a cute look. I'm just gonna say that, but he'll manage. So lastly, can you describe the typical atmosphere for the Rockman? What for the people? There has to be people that haven't done the course before.
I think this year most of the people are very seasonal athletes because we have been very clear that this is not for everybody. So we have at least tried to let people know what they're up against.
But many of them haven't done the competition before, so there's new names, I guess, on the list.
To be honest, I haven't really looked that much on the list from that perspective. There are a few new names, but we know that some of these are quite seasonal athletes. We have a huge returning crowd of people that have done the race in the past, so they know what they're up against. So I would say at least 75 to 80% of the athletes have done Rockman somewhat to some extent in the past. 20 newbies, they will be buzzing like always.
Yes.
We are getting a lot of questions about, what do you think the water temperature is? Will it be this or will it be that? But all we say is that it is what it is, and we don't know until we go out there a couple of days before the event, and we mark it on Wednesday, and that's when we take the decision whether or not we keep all the 3 swims at the top. At least minimum, there will be 2 swims at top of Flørli. So you need to swim with your backpack. So make sure it's packed in a waterproofish way.
Yeah, we have gotten our actually a really nice pack. So thank you for making that was a good reason to buy a new backpack.
Yes.
So now we're going to have a lot of cool stuff in it. So I'm looking forward to that. So and we of course will be running with this backpack after putting it on or swimming with it until we reach our goal. So
Yes, initially the plan was that people were supposed to drop their stuff at Flørli, but then we realized that logistical would be a nightmare with up to 116 athletes whose wetsuit is where and whatnot. So we decided that we'll do a drop bag. Going there, you get your bags for you and your partner. You have your mandatory gear checked at the registration. It will be checked at Flørli. If you don't have it, you don't run. It's that simple. And then, you know, those 2 swims are quite short, so I don't think that will impact too much if you have to swim with a backpack. Back in the days, people were running in full wetsuits the entire day.
yeah. I think they weren't cold as much, I would say. But maybe the other problem is too hot.
Indeed. But July is always cold at the mountain.
Yeah. So don't. There can be some sunnish spots, but don't think it will be a hot day.
Well, I've been flying over the terrain several times recently, and I've been blessed with good weather flying over. And there will be snow patches.
There will be.
But you probably won't be running on snow, but you will see patches of snow in the shadow.
That's so cool. No. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
It was. I'm really looking forward to this challenge this year. I've been training really well. Been doing a lot of swimming, and I've actually been doing the training that I wanted to do for this. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it will go this year with a harder, even harder Rockman. I still put it on the highest list of the hardest swim runs I've done. So will be exciting to see how this one will be, and also how it compares to the World Championships. So
I think for most athletes like ourselves, the old Rockman, the one we have had, except from the original and this year, pretty much the same finishing time overall. We have seen people that have done both the same year.
As World, yeah.
But now we have increased it with 11K trail running, very technical. So we anticipate maybe winning teams somewhere between plus minus 10.5 to 12 hours, versus the same type of athlete is plus minus 8 hours on the World Championship. So,
yeah, so it's a harder, but
it's a longer day out,
yeah,
so it will be challenging for everyone.
I think the height meters will definitely be a sore. The last, I've heard a good sentence when I did the Sandnes Ultra. There was a woman from, I think, England, and she said, I came here to run, not to climb. I think you should be prepared for about the same on Rockman. The sentence is good, right?
Again, Lloyd, you know, it's about mastering running downhill.
Yes.
Because going up is just heavy, but mastering running downhill is what makes you a terrific Rockman athlete.
Yeah, I think so.
And you will have a great day with Ruben.
Yeah. I think I'm buzzing. I'm really looking forward.